How to count cards in Baccarat. Here I will show you an easy system to count cards in Baccarat. For a beginner, it is better to take a paper and pen to write down your counting. Advanced players will get all in memory. The goal when counting cards is to find out when the cards will be more favorable on the player's side depending of the previous cards that have been dealt from the card's deal or shoe. Once you know when can happen a winning hand, then you have the opportunities to place bets on it. Baccarat cards counting is usually done with a 6-deck or a 8-deck cards shoe. Now to learn how to count cards, you do not need to be a mathematical genius or big head, as the counting strategy is easy as it is with small numbers counting. The counting rules are as follows. Count 1 for every ace, 2, or 3, dealt from the shoe. Count 2 for every 4 dealt from the shoe. Count -1 when the 5, 7, or 8 are dealt from the shoe. Count -2 when a 6 is dealt from the show. Count 0 when every king, queen, jack, 10 and 9 is dealt from the show. And you need to keep counting as long as the game and counting is done with one single card's shoe. And then the higher the number of the count is, your odds of winning a player bet become now higher and higher. Once you hit a count of 16, it is then better to place your wager on the player than on the banker, and when it is lower than 16, keep betting on the banker. Tie bets are too risky to place bets on, unless that is what you are after. Cards counting in Baccarat is simple as that. Once a new card shoe is used, then you need to start your counting system again. The counting system is basically working like that, by minoriting the cards which are no longer in the card's shoe, and which ones remain. You can then select your decision about which bet will have more probabilities than the other. By counting cards, it is then logic to understand that the house edge and probabilities will depend of the cards left in the card's shoe. When there are less 5s, 6s and 8s, the house edge will be in favor for the player area, and then, when there are less aces, 2s, 3s and 4s in the card's shoe, then the house edge will favor for the banker instead of the player. You just have to remember the counting system, like shown as follow. Count 1 for every ace, 2, or 3, dealt from the shoe. Count 2 for every 4 dealt from the shoe. Count -1 when the 5, 7, or 8 are dealt from the shoe. Count -2 when a 6 is dealt from the show. Count 0 when every king, queen, jack, 10 and 9 is dealt from the show. As a reminder, in Baccarat, the player's hand will win 44.62% of the time. The banker's hand will lose 45.85% of the time. Ties are rare, but they happen. The probability for a tie in Baccarat is 9.53%. The winning odds for the banker are a little better than for the player, just because the banker's hand is determined after the player's hand is drawn. It is like basically that the banker knows what he has to beat before deciding whether to draw a card. However, a player who wins a banker bet must pay a 5% commission to the casino. And this evens the odds out a bit. Even with the 5% commission, the Baccarat house edge on banker bets is 1.17%, lower than the 1.36% on player bets. Note that player bets pays 1-to-1, and see the house edge difference between player and banker. Just some interesting facts about Baccarat. That was the explications about the easy cards counting system in Baccarat. I hope you have appreciated watching this video. Thanks for watching Casino Tech.